Hi there, Anastasia. Nice to see that you sent more essays for us. Let's take a look here. Okay. Nowadays, most people are not as fit and active as they were in the past. What are the main causes of this situation? Suggest some solutions. Okay, fine. So it's a causes and solution essay. Let's see what you did here. Every year, count of people spend time working in an office, watching TV, and playing computer games dramatically increase. 21st century is couch potato time. This essay will discuss the causes of lazy lifestyle and different options of active pastime using examples from the USA and Russian university studies to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay. This last part is okay, but the rest of it really needs some work in terms of the grammar. Okay, let's try it again. Every year, countless people spend time. And you know what else is strange? Now, even if we did say that, this doesn't make sense. Dramatically increase. So you have to decide that every year the number, maybe this is what you want to say. Let me try it again then. Every year the number of people spending time working in an office, watching TV, and playing computer games is dramatically increasing. So that's what you could have done. But this whole section here, count of, is wrong, obviously. So you have to make one of those two decisions. And I'm not really crazy about this. We just don't say couch potato time. You could say that people are turning into couch potatoes, but to say this expression, honestly, I would have just gotten rid of this 21st century's couch potato time. It just sounds really unnatural. So let's see then. Let's say you could say that what you could say instead of this is that this is causing a multitude of problems. So then you could say it will discuss the causes of this lifestyle, and it's not even the causes of this lifestyle, it's just the causes of this situation and different options, well, not of active pastime, but different options to solve this situation, really. I mean, that's what you're looking for. So saying something like that would be okay, and that's just a general rule of thumb. I mean, in your thesis statement for something like this, for a problem or a cause and solution essay, you can just say, there are numerous causes for this situation. However, solutions do exist. And then if you wrote something like that, you'd be okay. All right, let's move on. Firstly, modern world lives in conditions of permanent lack of time and limited mobility. Okay, that's a little awkward. The modern world lives in conditions of permanent lack of time. Okay, let's try it differently. So firstly, in the modern world, most people suffer from a permanent lack of time and limited mobility. People drive a car rather than walk to the workplace, to their workplace. For example, recent empirical research by Oxford University showed that over 70% of New York citizens work far from home. Who work far from home get to work by car and spend about 1.5 hours on the way. Okay. So what's your point here? Are you trying to tell us that they don't move? I mean, go a step further rather than going into the secondly. So what are you trying to tell us here? That they, as a result, they have limited mobility. As a result, they don't walk around. They don't exercise, something, but you have to go a step further there. So secondly, virtual reality, okay, is developing rapidly. Full stop. A virtual glass allows people, not just allows, but allows whom? A virtual glass, I'm not sure what this means, allows people to play football or tennis without leaving their home or even moving. For instance, an extensive study by Moscow State University demonstrated that about 50% of Russians prefer to stay at home on weekends and play computer games or watch TV than go to a field and have an active time. Therefore, it's conclusively clear that people around the world are not so active as they Could be. All right, so reading this paragraph a couple of times again, I'm asking myself the following. Have you answered the question, what are the main causes of this situation? Now, I'm glad that you came up with two issues here. You came up with the fact that we drive to work, okay, instead of, walking or whatever. And then you mentioned kind of this excessive use of computers for our entertainment. I still think, even though it's a sizable paragraph, I still think you needed to just go one step further with each of these ideas. I pretty much said that to you here. You have to tell us how this thing here about the car, how that plays out, and how this spending 1.5 hours in our car leads to the fact that we're not physically active. So what are you telling us? I just wanted you to go one step further and just say, so as a result, with our entire work days at our desk and, potentially 3 hours, there's little to no time for exercise. And then the same thing here, you kind of said it. You said that virtual reality is increasing, and let's see, but I don't think the fact that it's increasing is the reason why we prefer to stay home and play computer games. It's just they're increasing in popularity, they're increasing in realism, and so they're really drawing more and more people in. So I think you could have just said a couple little extra things there. I hope that comment makes sense. I thought it was all right, but I did feel like a couple little things were missing. Now let's take a look at your second body paragraph. Although there are many solutions, no comma after all though. So, okay, it looks like the way you wrote this, you need a however here. However, or you could have said that said, or despite the above, or despite what has been said. When any of those would be okay here. So let's try that. That said, there are many solutions as to how to make our life more energetic and peaceful at the same time. I don't know why you're talking about peaceful. Nobody talked about our life being particularly violent or, not at peace. So I'm not sure why you decided to use that word here. For example, it is possible to cycle, not cycling, it is possible to cycle to work or just rent an apartment closer to one's, with apostrophe S, work location. So you can see I had to change around some of the syntax, some of the language here. During the work day, people can arrange for sport breaks. For instance, a recent study by Cambridge University showed that yoga in the middle of the workday increases productivity and do the work meetings more camless. I have no idea what camless means, and this doesn't make sense. What does that mean, to do the work meetings? Moreover, it is fun to organize sports games outdoors like basketball, skiing, or hiking. Okay. You have to be careful here. A lot of this sounds like a list, and it doesn't sound, and this is a problem that a lot of people run into when they do these solution paragraphs. They end up writing a list of things that are solutions, but they never really make it a paragraph. Now, how do you make this a paragraph? Well, the way to do it is when you mention each solution and when you say, okay, here's one solution to this problem, you then have to explain how it's a solution, how it could be a solution, how it could solve the problem, why it's a solution. Okay? So here, you said it is possible to cycle to work or just rent an apartment closer to one's work location. This would allow people to get some physical activity along their commute. Okay? So you see that I just take it a step further. Another, and then here you needed a linker. You needed another solution is arranging for sports breaks during the workday. And then this was fine, but although I already told you that this didn't make sense. And then here, I don't really understand why you even bothered to write this, because this is, I mean, why aren't people doing it already? I mean, this has nothing to do with any of the problems you mentioned before. I mean, they could do that already. So I thought you needed to explain how or why, or I don't know. I thought this was rather irrelevant. So I thought you really needed to go a little further into these other two ideas, and you either need to explain how this is relevant or just take it out. All right, so to conclude from the examples and arguments given, I firmly believe it is possible to be active in our stressful life. All right, I would have liked one more sentence, some sort of a prediction for the future. So in the future, people will make more effort to add physical exercise in their life, something like that. All right, so we spent a lot of time on this task 2. Let's go straight into your task 1. All right, so let's see what you said. You're describing the course, you're saying what you don't like, and how you think it could be fixed. All right, here's what you wrote. Dear Sir, Madam, I'm writing to express my opinion about the course of computer science at an evening school. All right, let's fix this. I am writing to express my opinion about the computer science course at your evening school, or give the school a name, because you're writing the director of this program, right? Yeah, so just to say at an evening school, it's as if you're saying any evening school that exists, and that doesn't make sense. So you could have said something like, I'm writing to express my opinion about the computer science course at ABC Evening School. Okay, that makes sense. I've been not visiting, you don't visit lectures, you attend. So I've been attending the lectures and practical lessons for this course for 7 months, 3 times a week. The lecturer tells us about the history of computer science and teaches us the algorithm basics. I don't know what that means on the practice. Do you mean in the lab, or on the practical side? I'm not really sure what this means. We draw diagrams, although would be better to learn modern computer languages like Python, JS, or Java. Probably should capitalize these. I respect our teacher, but I assume that the program of computer science, no, I assume the computer science program should include the new theoretical base according to last year's apostrophe S. I don't know what you mean here, tendency. Do you mean new trends? And many practical tasks. In my opinion, the current program is outdated. Okay, I don't think assume is the right word either. I respect our teacher, but I believe that the computer science program should include new theoretical base according to last year's trends. Okay, so we fixed it. Get rid of this, so I suppose. All right, it's too informal. It's not the kind of language you want to be using here. Why don't you just do something like this? I propose adding information about cloud technologies, modern languages, and Android development. Moreover, you should. It just sounds too much like an order. I suggest adding, that would be good. I suggest adding more practical tasks for developing in one of the languages. If I can be of further assistance, please don't hesitate to phone me personally on the number below. Thank you in advance. Okay, that part's fine. So this did have some trouble. I felt like a lot of the language that was outside of some of the terminology you used was problematic. Wasn't really correct. It wasn't accurate, and so it needed a little work for sure. So that's what I want you to be careful of. There's still some errors here that are probably holding you back from getting one of those higher scores that you're looking for. So be aware of that. Try to work on that a little bit, and see if you can overcome some of these grammatical things that are happening. All right, so go ahead and send us another set, and we'll be waiting to see what you write. Good luck.